Original JLB, Bison, updated JLB. What's up everyone, Steve here again from RC Tanks and Trucks 24/7. In the studio I got the new JLB Cheetah. It's the 21101. Just read that number because I couldn't remember it. That's a new and improved version. You can see it's got a rear wing, dual wheelie bar, new and improved tyres compared to the old one there, which weren't the best on certain like dirt and stuff like that. Not too bad on grass, but new and improved, much better. You can see there, single wheelie bar, no rear wing. There's a bit of a difference. So hope you guys enjoy it. It's going to be, I think, a fairly long video. I'm going to compare these on the bench, the actual chassis and what's different, the wheels and tires and stuff like that. But not also the Cheetah. I got this bad boy as well. This is a VKAR Bison, awesome car as well. And I got this out as well because they're all in the same league, same budget, pretty much same performance. They're both powerhouses. They're both relatively cheap for what you get. And I've thrashed this puppy recently. Very impressed with it. And if you look at them together, they're not too bad. They are very similar. Same wheelbase, similar wheelie bar, similar rear wing, both front and rear LEDs. So they share very similar DNA. I got both of these from GearBest. I will leave the link in the description for this one as well, so you can go check them out. So stick around guys, this is going to be an unboxing, an in-depth look at the parts, and an awesome comparison between the old Cheetah, the new Cheetah, and the VKAR Bison. Let's get to it. Okay guys, now here is the updated Cheetah from JLB. It is model number 21101. It's a 4x4 110 scale 4-wheel drive brushless off-road truggy. Now regular viewers on my channel would notice that I have the older model JLB. It's the red and black one. This is kind of upgraded. It has kind of new wheels, new tires, new 17mm nuts here. It has a spoiler on the back, and that's pretty much it. Plus it does have rear LED lights. Very similar to the Bison. Now you know the deal. Before I open up, I will go around the box. As you can see there, there's the model JLB 21101. It has a metal chassis and an upper metal chassis plate as well for good rigidity. It does include a 15 kilo Metal Gear servo. Of course, it comes with a brushless motor, 80 amp waterproof brushless ESC, 11.1 volt 3-cell 4000 milliamp LiPo battery, a new and improved radio. I've definitely noticed that as well, and all the running gear is metal, so that should give good longevity. Now I'm not going to go into all the detail here. I'll just get in and show you this puppy, and later on I'll do a comparison between the Bison and this one. Now we're in like Flynn, and we have ourselves instruction manual, some stickers to spruce it up a bit, and that's all we have here. One instruction manual, basic stuff, do's and don'ts, layout of the car, spare parts list, exploded views, information regarding the ESC and all that kind of stuff. Pretty basic, but it's good to have it there. And hiding underneath the car is just this basic transmitter manual. There we go. Gives you steps on how to rebind if you lose connection. Okay, now the controller is a much different design. Only requires 4 AA batteries, which is always good. A good thing about this car and the old one, it has a throttle dual rate, so you can, you know, wind it down if you're using it for your kids or something like that, so they don't go ballistic and flip the hell out of it. So you can just kind of crank that down so it's a bit more docile, and when they get used to it, or when you grab hold of it, you can wind it all the way up again. Also have steering dual rates, steering trim and throttle trim, plus your steering and throttle reverse switches on the other side. On-off switch here, and it has a 3-channel button here as well, so I'm not too sure what's going on there, but I'll check that out later on. And for comparison, the one on my right here is the original JLB controller that came with the red and black car, and as you can see, the new one. It kind of does look a bit more modern, a bit more futuristic. This one has an inbuilt antenna, so it doesn't even have a bump like this one here, but there we go. Just in case you wanted to have a look. Well, look who's hiding on the side here. I have so many of these now. It's a 2S or 3S LiPo charger. It does get you out of trouble if you don't have one to begin with, the hobby grade charger that is. And all you need to do, you plug in your balance lead here for 2S or here for 3S, and that'll take a good 3 or 4 hours to charge. Okay, so immediately you can see the design. It does look very e-Revo-ish, and that's for sure, but definitely can see the tyres are much different than the original. They feel nicer, they look better as well, and the wing here, and don't worry, I'll get all three out to show you the difference. Let's get the body off first. Nice graphics, same as the previous one, nothing to write home about, basic Lexan, but the does look nice. For everyone who's seen my other JLB unboxing video, this pretty much looks the same except for this wing and this style wheelie bar and this red wire here that goes to the rear LED lights. Everything else looks pretty much the same. Now the powerhouse for this puppy is a 3670 2500 kV motor paired up with an 80 amp waterproof ESC, and from experience this combo right here is excellent. It goes so hard, it backflips on the spot. I've done a video of that, I'll put it in the link down below. It just goes crazy. It's so much power for this thing, maybe a bit too much, but I don't think that's ever possible. Now here we just have a standard 4-channel receiver, and it's just double-sided tape to the top of the Metal Gear 15 kilo steering servo. And like the previous one, all the metal and aluminium is nice and thick, anodized in this nice champagne or gold color, and you can't really go wrong in here. Everything is built extremely well, and for the price, I always say this, it might sound like a broken record, but for the price, they're unbeatable. Now the springs are dual progressive type, and it does work well. I've had no issues with the other one. Everything seemed to work quite nicely. There's a little bit of bounce from factory, but that can always be rectified with different oil, and it does also have a nice boot here to protect any oil getting into the shaft and making everything all gunky and stuff like that. But that's what I mean. The attention to detail from just having these boots is nice to see for a cheaper kit. Now the body of the shocks, of course, is aluminium with a nice threaded ring here. Everything works well, and everything holds up so far with my other kit. I've said this before, but I really appreciate JLB giving a 3S LiPo with a decent capacity of 4000 milliamps, including in the kit, and like their other ones, it's hard case. Really nice. This battery will give you a good 20 to 25 minutes runtime, very reasonable for a RTR kit, so I can't really complain about that. Does include a Dean's connector, but from my experience, they do last quite long, and they do hold charge very well, and they balance out cells pretty accurately as well. Now, like I said previously, the biggest issue I had with the original JLB Cheetah was the tyres that came with the kit. In loose dirt, they were no good, absolutely no grip at all, but in grass and on tarmac, they were okay. Happy to tell you that these new ones here do work much better. I've seen videos already with that performing, and everyone says they are much better, so looking forward to test them out. The wheel design is different as well, and the 17mm nut here is nicer as well. It's actually like a proper one. The old one had like a spike, like a chrome dome that came off it. Wasn't really practical, and you couldn't use a regular wrench to get the wheel off. Now here you'll see a nice thick aluminium chassis. Everything is nicely countersunk. There's no way nothing will get hung up on the bottom here, and everything uses Allen keys, no Phillips head here at all. So that's nice that everything is the same, and these things don't strip out as easy as a Phillips head does. Now, quite obvious visual change, you'll see this nice rear spoiler here. It's quite flexible, so it's not brittle, and it won't just snap to oblivion in a crash, and it comes in the kit pre-mounted. I guess time will tell, but this might actually achieve some downforce pushing on the rear of the car to help with the grip, but we'll see about that. Here is another place you'll see a change. On the original version, it was just a one-wheel wheelie bar. Now we have dual ball bearing wheelie bar. It does seem a little bit more solid, but I broke something very similar to this one on the Bison, albeit I did thrash it, so don't really take that as an indication of how tough they are. They are really tough. I did give it hell. And also you can see here, it's not on at the moment, but there are two LED lights. What I might do, I'll plug the battery in so you can see. Okay, cooking with gas now. As you can see, I've plugged it in. There are the rear LED lights, and there are the front ones. They are very bright. They do a good job lighting up in dusk or in nighttime, and also it's good to give you orientation when you're out in the field and it's pretty far away. As you can see there, the 80 amp ESC going hard. The fan is very strong. It does spool up nicely and it keeps everything in check. I had no issues with my other one either. So what I'll do now, I'll get the Bison and the original Cheetah out so you can actually have a visual comparison if you guys are thinking about which one you want to buy. So hold on, I'll get them all out. Original JLB, Bison, updated JLB. Now try to get everything lined up here on the table so you can get a good comparison. And as you can see, the Bison, Cheetah, and the older Cheetah here. All awesome cars. If any of you guys pick any of these, you'll be happy with them because they're all fantastic cars. That being said, I haven't done this one personally myself, but I have high expectations and I'm pretty sure to come through. Now when you first look at them, the Bison and the new JLB Cheetah look more similar. They both have low slung bodies, kind of very E-Revo-like. They both include rear spoilers and they both have the dual wheelie bars at the back. Okay, that's a bit better. I've just got the two Cheetahs out here so we can have a bit of a closer look. Now now as you can see the tyres, these are much better. The tread pattern of these they don't look very good. Maybe in wet mud they look like they might prevail, but in all around, you know, general bashing, no good. You change these out for something else, but from the get-go these are much nicer. Now earlier in the video I was telling you about the actual nuts. You can see if I undo this one. Now I've undone the one off the old Cheetah. As you can see, it's 17mm as well, but it's got this weird dome like, so you can't use standard tools with that. Whereas the newer one has generic style 17mm ones you can see here. So I've taken the bodies off and this is where it should look very similar. They are basically identical. Bear in mind, you can just see here it has different body post locations, but the actual suspension arms, the suspension towers, the shocks, everything like that is in the same configuration, exactly the same order. Even the motor is the same, 3670 2500, 3670 2500 kV motor, same 80 amp ESC, same battery location, everything is the same except the tyres, the rear wheelie bar and the rear wing. So that's pretty much all. So don't fret if you have the older model, you're not going to get that big of a performance upgrade. It's only going to be really about the tyres and maybe a bit of downforce produced from that rear wing. So as you can see, the chassis and everything below is exactly the same. Here is where you'll see the difference. The dual wheelie bars to the single wheelie bar, no wing, no rear LED lights, and this one has LED lights as well. That's pretty much it. That's all the visual difference you see. I know the Bison isn't a Cheetah obviously, but it's in the same ballpark, in the very same price range, so you can't really go wrong. But I thought I'd just show you the innards of the Bison compared to the Cheetah as well. Since the Cheetah is basically the same for both models, it's relevant regardless of if it's a newer one or the older one. So as you can see here, the layout is very similar with the motors being on the same side, the ESC exactly in the same spot, and also the receiver is mounted upon the servo as well on the same location. It's just in a different configuration, but very similar. They both have dual progressive springs. They're both pretty much the exact same shock. The shock towers is very similar as well. Similar wing mounting, same wheelie bar, same LED light system. Apart from that, it also does have the same receiver. The way the LED wiring is routed is different. This one kind of runs around the side underneath these clips where you put that kind of hand net guard for the debris on there. I kind of like this one a little bit better. Now where it does get difference is within the wishbones, and as you can see when I flip it over, it's more obvious. As you can see, the Bison have kind of this chunkier A-arm, traditional A-arm style suspension arm there, where the Bison, I kind of like it more. It's a bit more robust, and it has these guards at the front to protect the lower parts of the suspension. So either way, they're both very good. As you can see, the Cheetah has a flat style chassis, very thick aluminium, everything is recessed and countersunk nicely, whereas the Bison here has this kind of modular design. It kind of steps in the middle, kind of steps back out at the front and the rear. That being said, there's no good or bad. this one is easy to work on just as well as this one. Now, the one thing that the Cheetah has that I do prefer is the steering servo sticks out of the bottom of the Bison. As you can see, it sticks nowhere out here, so it can never get caught. So that's an issue here, but I don't think that's going to be a rarity if something's going to hit that and get caught up in there, but it is what it is. Very similar wheelie bar configuration and rear wing. As you can see there, I did have a wheelie bar here, but it kind of got obliterated off. I guess that happens when you're jumping as high as a tree. Now that concludes this video, guys. Sorry if it was long and boring, but I've never seen a video on YouTube that shows you a comparison of the new Cheetah to the old Cheetah and even the Bison thrown in here. Only reason it's got the Bison is because it's pretty much in the same field as the Cheetahs. Any of these cars, you won't be disappointed. And yeah, I can't wait to test this puppy out. Like the Bison and like the old Cheetah, I got this new one from GearBest as well. Of course, I would leave a link in the description below, so if you want to go check it out, it's available right now. You won't be upset if you purchase any of these cars. But that's me, guys. Steve here again from RC Tanks and Trucks. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments section. I'm happy to answer them whenever I can. If you like the video, give it a good old thumbs up. And that's it. See you in the next video, where I'll put this bad boy through its paces.